Hello, Colton Newcomb. Welcome to today's podcast. I will be reading you Kiss by Carlos Ruizaroff. He is a Spanish writer. Alright. I never told anybody, but getting that apartment was no short of a miracle. All I knew about Laura was that she worked part-time at that office of the landlord on the first floor, and that she kissed like a tango. I met her on July night when the sky's blanket, I don't know that word, sizzled with steam and depression. I had been sleeping on a bench in a nearby square when I was awakened by the brush of her lips. "Do you need a place to stay?" She led me to the lobby. The building was one of those vertical, don't know that word, that haunt the old town, a labyrinth of gargoyles and patches ups at the roofs, of which you could still make out the 1886 somewhere beneath the layer of soot. I followed her upstairs, almost feeling my way in the darkness. The building creaked under my feet like an old ship. Laura never asked for any references, personal or financial. Good thing, because in prison you don't get either. The attic was the size of my former cell, a spare room pitched over the endless roof world of the old city. I'll take it. Truth be told, 3 years in the slammer had obliterated my sense of smell, and the issue of voices leaking through the walls wasn't exactly a novelty for me. One man's hell is another's paradise lost. Laura would come to me every night. Her cold skin and her misty breath were the only things that didn't burn during that scorching summer. At dawn, she would silently vanish downstairs, leaving me to doze off during the day. The neighbors had the meek kindness granted by years of misery and oblivion. Thank you. I counted 6 families, all with children and old-timers, reek of dead flowers and damp soil. My favorite was Don Florin, who lived right downstairs and painted dolls and tin toys for a living. I spent weeks venturing out of the building. Spiders were building, I don't know that word, at my threshold, but Donna Lisa on the 3rd floor always brought me something to eat. Don Florin lent me old magazines and challenged me to endless domino matches. The kids in the building invited me to play hide and seek. It was a good life. For the first time, I felt welcome, even appreciated. By midnight, Laura would bring me her 19 years wrapped in white silk and give herself to me as if it were the last time. I made love to her until the break of dawn, savoring in her body everything life denied me. Afterwards, I dreamed in black and white, like a dog, and cursed people. But even the lowest of the low sometimes get a taste of happiness in this world. That summer was mine. When the demolition people came by in late August, I mistook them for cops. The chief engineer told me that he had nothing personal against squatters, but unfortunately they had to dynamite the building and razz it to the ground no matter what. There must be a mistake. Most chapters in my life begin with that line. I ran downstairs to the landlord's office on the 1st floor looking for Laura. All I found was carcinogens, and 2 inches of dust. I went to Don Florin's 50 Eyeless Dolls in the Shadows. I went through the entire building looking for just one neighbor, one voice. Silent corridors lay covered in debris. This property had been closed down since 1938, young man. The chief engineer informed me. The bomb damage to the structure beyond repair. I believe we had some words. The wrong kind. My kind. I believe I pushed him down the stairs. Hard. This time the judge had a field day with me. My old cellmates, it turns out, were still waiting. After all, you always come back. Heinman, the library guy, found a 10-year-old magazine article about the bomb damage during the Civil War, about the bombardment during the Civil War. In the photograph, bodies are lined up in pine boxes, disfigured by the shrapnel, but they were still recognizable to me. A shroud of blood spread over the cobblestone. Laura, dressed in white, her hands covering her open chest. It had been almost 2 years, but in prison, you live or die by memories. These guards think they're smart, but she knows how to sneak in past the walls. At midnight, I awakened by the brush of her icy lips. She brings me regards from Don Florin and the others. You'll love me always, won't you? She asks. And I said yes. Okay, Mr. Colton. It's time for the questions about the story. Number 1. What do you think we could do to help the homeless people in our country?
Create more homeless shelters and create better environments for the people.
Better environments? Well, for them to be homeless, they need to help get jobs, get clean clothes. We're gonna run food drives, help them get better and more clean clothes.
Well, that's what a homeless shelter would do.
No, a homeless shelter just provides a place for them to sleep and stay.
Then we could supply them with the Red Cross. We could use that to supply them clothes and food, clean shower.
Okay, that's really good. I think that could really help our homeless people in our country, and it could help them get a more stable lifestyle and not help them be on the streets. In the story, the chief engineer talked about him not having an issue with squatters and them being fine. What is your opinion on squatters?
I think that they take up place or space where they shouldn't be, like a house. If someone went on vacation and someone took over your house while you were gone and trashed it, how would you feel?
I would feel very horrible, but we're talking about what if they were just staying in an abandoned building? Dangerous, run-down, danger building. Do you think they should be charged with trespassing, or do you think they should be helped and find a homeless shelter nearby?
I feel like they should be helped, but if they stay into an abandoned building, it could be a liability for whoever owns it.
What about the people? They have nowhere else to go.
Homeless shelters.
Okay.
That could solve their problem.
That makes sense. In the later part of the story, the homeless man, the main character in the story, makes a bad decision. He pushed a man down the stairs. Do you think his anger was justified towards the chief engineer?
No, because I feel like the chief engineer had no problem with him being a squatter and just in general. And I feel like he got mad at him for just demolishing the building.
I think his anger was justified, but I think his actions were a little bit more than what was needed. I mean, they were tearing down his home and his place where he was staying, and he lost everyone who was in there and who cared for him and helped him. They were all gone mysteriously, and he could not find a single one of them. Wouldn't you be angry or upset, confused, if everyone you knowed and cared about you just up and disappeared, and some guy came over and said he's going to destroy the place you lived?
Well, I'm sure he knew that the place was abandoned if there was 2 inches of dust everywhere. So I'd assume he would have known something happened or everyone moved on. So I feel
Well,
like
he was living in there, and then it never said he was staying in there, and then people brought him food the other day, and then everyone was just gone.
maybe you're right.
Do you think there's something wrong with our prison system? Because in the story, earlier in the story, he was talking about how the attic was the size of his former cell, and how prison had obliterated his sense of smell and made it where where leaking voices didn't matter to him, and where he lived, he could pretty much stay anywhere. Do you think that is a bad thing, and do you think our prison system should be changed? Because this man suffered a great deal even after he came out of prison.
I do, because I think prison can cause a lot of trauma for somebody and PTSD. Because, like he said, if his simple apartment room looked like his jail cell and he could hear voices, then that could definitely cause problems for someone.
Yeah. Would you treat someone the way the people in the story treated the homeless man? Would you give him a place to stay, spend time, give him things, and feed him the way they have in the story?
If I knew him beforehand, I would. But if I just saw him on the street one day, I don't think I could physically
You don't think you
help
could
him.
trust him? You don't think you would be able to help him or be able to know his problems or...
No. I mean, I'd talk to him, but I couldn't get him help.
Why is that? Why couldn't you be able to get him help him find a job? Do you just don't think it's your place to help him?
Yeah. I feel like he can get himself out of that situation.
All right. I think that's a pretty good answer. Helping people you don't know is very rarely ever happens. Do you agree with this quote that you live or die by memories? Carlos Razu Zafkis. Do you agree with that? Do you think you live or die by memories?
Yes, because I feel like he's talking about the memories he has from jail and all the bad things that happened to him when he was in prison.
I agree for a different reason. There's another very popular quote that says, the past is doomed to repeat itself if you forget. I think that is a very good thing. If you don't remember your past, how are you supposed to help protect your future or make your future a brighter days and make your life better if you don't remember your past and where you came from?
Well, that could cause lots of problems. Like, say you had memory loss.
That's not the question.
Okay,
What? Why? Memory loss. Are you?
I'm lost. Hold on. Yeah.
We're keeping this.
Alright.
What do you mean memory loss?
If you can't remember what you did in your past, how does that affect your future?
It means you don't know where you came from. You don't know your
Memory
family.
loss.
Yes, that's what memory loss means.
Okay. Next question.
Next question. You don't want to talk about that anymore?
No.
Okay. Do you think the families and the people that were living in the building were ghosts? Because at the end of the story, he finds a librarian who gives him a newspaper saying where is it? Down here. That during the bombardment in the Civil War, in the photograph, there were bodies lined up in pine boxes, disfigured by shrapnel, but they were recognizable by our homeless man, and he could see one of them, Laura, dressed in white and she was dead on the ground. But at that time, he was only in prison for 2 years. So 8 years ago, before he was in prison, they were already dead. Do you think the people in the building could have been ghosts and he could see them?
I'd say yes, because if he has that much detail for what he had seen and what had happened, he had to have seen something. At least.
Okay, my next question kind of follows this. Do you think the homeless man could have known these people in his past and could have just gone insane and started seeing them?
Absolutely.
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 You think the homeless man could have been insane and just imagining the entire apartment building full of people instead of them being ghosts? You think that's another possibility for this story?
I'd say so, yes. Because if he saw someone hand him a newspaper saying that the building was destroyed 10 years ago and he saw all those people,
Well, he didn't see everyone. He just saw Laura.
Laura. Nice.
He didn't see all the other neighbors. We're just assuming they died in the bombardment as well.
Well, if he saw Laura and he saw someone.
And at the end, Laura also mentions she brings regards from everyone else. So that's where I'm getting where everyone else died during the bombardment as well.
I'd say yes, he's going insane.
He's
'Cause
going insane,
had
or it could be
seen
ghosts?
Laura when he. Yes. If he had seen ghosts, he must be going insane.
So you're saying all those ghost TV shows, everyone who sees on those ghosts, they're all insane?
Yes.
You don't think ghosts exist?
No.
That's a very hot take. A lot of people think ghosts exist.
That's-
Why do you think spirits can't walk the mortal realm?
Because they're dead.
Well, dude, that's literally the definition of ghosts. Someone dead walking and living, still being here.
I don't know.
You just don't believe it? You don't have
Yeah.
any reasoning?
Yeah, they're invisible.
They're invisible.
Yeah, I can't see them. So
You only believe in what you can see?
if I can't see you, then
So you don't believe in air?
well, you can breathe air. You can't see it.
Exactly, you can't see it. You just said you don't believe in what you can't see. You don't see air. Do you not believe air exists?
Nice. Well, to be fair, you couldn't add a little.
You can't see half our galaxy. Do you not think half our
Exactly. It's called telescope.
You haven't seen it.
So
So you just said what you can't see, you don't believe.
yeah, I don't believe anything out of the Milky Way.
Do you have to see it in person, or can you see it in a video or in a picture?
In person.
In person? So you don't believe China, Russia, North Korea exists?
Nah.
Nah?
Nah.
Are you just joking around? You just joshing? You just joshing?
Yeah.
You okay. I understand. You have no reasoning for not believing in ghosts, so you are just making up reasons at this point. And I'm calling
it's
you
fake.
out on it.
It's fake.
Ghosts could totally be real.
Name a ghost. Name a ghost you've seen.
When we went to church camp with Angelo,
In 2012.
yep, we all three of us saw a tall man in a suit all at the other side of the room.
8-year-old me.
Exactly. We all saw it.
I don't remember it, but
Oh, okay.
you might have. I don't know. I probably did see it. I just
No,
don't remember.
all of us saw it. Yeah, obviously. Okay.
Alright, you know what? Fine, I got an idea then.
What?
Keep going. Keep going. I'll tell you
Okay.
later.
Well, we're on a podcast. Tell me now.
Well, no. I can't tell you right now.
Is something inappropriate? No, you just don't want to give it to my teacher? Oh, okay. I understand now. All right. Next question. Could at the end of the story, he says, "At midnight I awakened by the brush of her icy lips." Do you think that this could mean death? Because in many other stories and books, death is referred to as ice cold and the touch of death, the kiss of death. Do you think that this means it could be death coming for him?
I'd say yes, because if she died that long ago and he was awakened by the brush of her icy lips, I think it's a heads up that he's gonna die here pretty soon.
All right. At least we can agree with that one.
Good.
All right, last question. Do you think the building could have been an historical monument, and why? Because the building was made in 1886, and it was damaged during a bombardment, and it still laid standing, but they came by in later years when our homeless man, the main character, was living there and just destroyed it and brought it to the ground. Do you think this building could have been a historical monument and should have been saved and preserved?
Yeah, because if it was damaged during the Civil War, that by itself should be a historical monument.
A Civil War, not the
My
Civil
bad.
War.
I'm sorry. A Civil War. Or the, whatever you want us to call it. Yes. And just because the year is built.
The year was built. You think it's just been
Yeah.
preserved and taken care of?
Yeah.
All right, we got some time left. We're gonna do a quick ad break by our sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. New character, the Monkey King. You can get him with code 8836. You should definitely play Raid Shadow Legends. Alright, we're back. We're going to go back to question number 2 to fill out the rest of our time. But we're going to modify the question. If we were in his position, what would we do while the chief engineer is telling us that the building needs to be destroyed? What would you do? Would you...
Well, I would grab whatever I had, first off, pack it up, and then I would ask the chief engineer why he was destroying my building.
That's pretty good. That's pretty reasonable. Not very insane
Right.
like what he did. He kind of shoved a man down the stairs.
Well, I feel like the chief engineer would be blowing it up anyways.
I mean, I don't think they could destroy a building with a person in it. I think they need to get the police involved to get you out of the building. I don't think they would just destroy a building with a human being inside it, homeless man or not.
That's probably true. Let's be fair. Then I would probably barricade myself inside the house.
You're gonna take your stuff, talk to the chief engineer,
Yep, he's gonna say.
and then just
he's gonna
barricade the place up and wait for the SWAT team to come and drag you out.
They can go that way, or the chief engineer would tell me there's nothing he can do about it. He's gonna blow up the house anyways, and then I'll just turn around, go to a room or something, barricade myself in. Instead of almost killing the man and then going back to prison.
First off, we don't know what happened to him. We don't know if he was fine or he was hospitalized. It does not explain what happened to the
Then I
chief
will
engineer.
throw down the chief engineer down the stairs. That's my fault.
So you're saying you'll do exactly what he did, but go worse instead of surrendering yourself?
Yeah, and then barricade myself in.
So you're going to assault a man, throw him down the stairs, go into a room, barricade it,
Yeah. Or I can take a hostage. It doesn't really matter.
take a hostage. You're getting close to homeless man angry to terrorist pretty quick here.
So, I mean, he's blowing up my house. What would he do? If someone walked into your house...
It literally entire area is full of run-down old buildings. I moved to a different home.
Well, what if you don't want the other home? What if you want to stay in that home?
This is me in his shoes. I know what I'm thinking. I wouldn't assault the man, kidnap him, and hold him hostage.
Hey, I said that was a possibility, not a guarantee. I could be friends with the man and tell him to go blow up the house next door, and then I still live a healthy, happy life
Well, you
with
could
my
move-
ghost.
With your ghost?
Yeah, with
I thought
my-
you said you didn't believe in ghosts.
Well, I'm in his shoes.
Yeah, you're in his shoes. You're not him.
Okay? So, if I'm in his shoes, I'm saying I believe in ghosts.
Okay.
But me personally, I don't.
You don't believe in ghosts?
No.
Okay. A lot of people don't. And a lot of people aren't very smart.
Calling me not smart?
I didn't say that.
Well, that's not nice.
I may have implied it, but I didn't say it.
You definitely meant that.
Well, thank you for coming here. And I hope you have a rest of the day, and I hope you learn that ghosts are real.
Yeah, well, you know what? Thank you for having me.
No problem. Come by
I
anytime.
hope you figure out the worthlessness and talking to a ghost that's fake.
First off, I never said I was talking to ghosts.
Okay. You're right. I'm sorry.
Alright.
Alright, thank you for having me.
No problem. Come by anytime.